Good morning, everyone. This is Jena from the JCC, and we are here this morning to do mind, body, and recovery. So, this morning, you'll just need a place to be on the ground, and you'll need some sort of a long strap. It could be maybe you have a resistance band with handles on it, that would work just fine. I just happen to have a resistance band that's right now. Long towel or a yoga strap will work as well for what we're doing with the straps or the strap today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I want us to just take a seat with our legs crossed over if you're able to. For some people, this position might not be the most comfortable. You can always bend your knees if you need to, but we're just going to sit up here in our crossover position, and we're going to work on playing around with our shoulders a little bit in the socket. So just relax the hands at your side and try not to force your posture abnormally. Just sit in whatever posture your body wants to get to, whatever is normal for you. And take a big inhale and exhale. And again, those of you that are just joining me here this morning for Mind, Body, and Recovery Day, grab a strap, a band, a long towel of some sort that you'll be using for stretching. We're just sitting in our normal posture, and we're going to take the attention to the stomach and start to pull in your rib cage just a little bit. And to do that, you want to think about zip ties. So someone is pulling in your belly, drawing in the rib cage a little bit. You should feel a nice contraction to the front. Mary, that band is yours there. Sitting up tall. And now we're going to work on the head positioning. So some of us might naturally sit with the ears slightly or significantly in front of the shoulders. We're going to gently draw our chin back, or in other words, the back of your head to the wall behind you. Very gentle, don't force anything. You should feel those muscles in the back of your neck start to contract. Keeping in mind, the more our head sits in front of our shoulders, these muscles are always being stretched out. So we get very tight in the front of our neck, very weak and overstretched in the back, and that's why we feel that tension all the time. Those muscles are being pulled in. So sliding that head back gently. Continue to keep that navel drawn in. And now let's pay attention to the shoulders. They naturally want to sit forward in the socket oftentimes. We spend a lot of time with our palms down or palms in. We're going to actually turn those palms forward and gently slide the shoulder, the arm actually, to the back of the shoulder socket, or kind of in the neutral position. So just working on our seated posture. Again, some of you may not be able to keep this nice straight line with your legs crossed here. By all means, you can bring your legs out in front, bend those knees, whatever feels comfortable for you to sit in this position here. So keeping all of those muscles in the posterior or back side of our body, and then the core, the abdominals, I should say, contracted, we're just working on a good, solid, seated posture here. I'm drawing my fingers into the ground and making a little teepee to kind of almost cheat and help those arms stay. So we're not trying to come behind our body, because then we're rotating that arm again forward in the socket. We're just sliding the shoulders slightly back, pulling the rib cage in. Head gently goes to the wall behind you. And continue to breathe here. Just really awareness of where your body sits. take some awareness to the pelvis. Some of us want to round over, but all those cues I already gave you to pull your abdominals in hopefully allowed you to get the hip bones nice and level with the ground. So let's play around here and place your hands on your hip bones, and we're going to mobilize that lumbar spine. So you're going to tilt your pelvis back and round your lower back over, and then you're going to tilt your pelvis forward. The upper body stays pretty much where it'll kind of pull with but you're not trying to move the upper body necessarily. The movement's coming from the pelvis. So we do this standing. Oftentimes we do this in our kneeling position. We're working on doing this in a seated position here. Tilting forward, tucking the tailbone under, scooping that pelvis back. Engage your glutes here. Tilt it forward again. And now let's everyone get back into their neutral position. One more time, just cueing in, pulling your navel, your rib cage in, keeping that chest lifted and broad. We're going to take the arms and make sure the shoulder is in the socket, but we're not behind our body because then we're excessively in extension in our shoulders. We just want them at the side. Okay, thumbs are going to be up towards the ceiling now. Pelvis should be neutral. It should not be tilted forward or backwards. And you're going to now squeeze your glutes and feel your body lift up a little bit as you squeeze those glutes. Release and squeeze. Release and squeeze. Release the glutes and squeeze. Every time you contract those glutes, you should feel your transverse abdominals, your deep inside your core here, contracting as well. Squeeze the glutes and release. One more. Squeeze the glutes and release. We're going to take all of that to the floor now. So you're going to lay back, just again, some body awareness in our pelvis positioning. So laying face up towards the ceiling, relax the legs, relax the back of the shoulders into the ground. If you take your fingertips and you just kind of feel your shoulders, if your shoulders are away from the ground, you know your chest is tight and rounded over. You're really trying to pin. Again, when you're seated, you just slid the shoulder, the arm to the back of your shoulder socket. You're trying to do the same thing. You should feel that part of your shoulder on the ground. Okay, so pin that back. Your palms will turn up towards the ceiling. Right now your legs are relaxed, and we are just going to do progressive contractions through the legs. So I want you to point your toes as hard as you can, contracting those lower leg muscles. Concentrate on the upper leg muscles, followed by the glutes. Contract your glutes as hard as you can, and you're going to feel, again, your transverse abdominal muscles pull in nice and tight. Don't worry about your back. There should be a natural space in your lower back because you're laying on your back and your legs are straight, your hips are straight. Continue to contract your abdominals. Your whole entire body from your rib cage down is contracting right now. You're going to take those arms and bring those fingertips towards the ceiling, and your arms are still, the back of your shoulder is still glued to the floor. I want you to lead with your thumb and bring the thumb towards the floor. As you do this, you're still contracting your legs, your glutes, your abdominals. The back is in neutral. Don't worry about it being flat. That's not the goal right now. Continue to move the thumbs over your head to touch the floor. Start to make a fist and see if you can get the thumb side to touch the floor again. Just creating some movement through the shoulder joint to see where we're at. Don't forget about your lower body. Those legs should be getting a little tired. You're still contracting your glutes as hard as you can, pulling in your navel. Turn so the back of the hand now touches the floor. Not everyone is going to get there, but you're paying attention to how much your legs and your core dictate how much your arms can move over your head and how they support that. Contracting those muscles is helping you lengthen through your back and the side of your rib cage as you pull open. So this is creating like a traction and a stretching, if you will. And relax the arms at your side. And you're going to go ahead and bend your knees, bend your hips. Okay. We're going to go into some movement in our pelvis. So arms will just relax on the floor. Back of the head, back of the shoulders are glued to the floor. You'll lift up through your hips now, pressing your feet into the ground. So we're going to go ahead and start to make some gentle circles in one direction with your pelvis. It goes up to the ceiling, off to the left, down towards the floor, off to the right, and around. Keep going in that whatever direction you started. Keep that going. See if you can get those hips to just brush the floor gently as you go to the other side. And push through those legs as you come back up and lift the hips towards the ceiling. Relax your neck, relax the shoulders. The palms are facing up. You're pressing firmly through those feet. Feel the backs of those legs really firing up to support the whole posterior side of your body. Now pause and start to go the other direction. And breathe through this. Slow and controlled. Challenging those leg muscles to really get as much motion as you can through the pelvis and that lower back. Now gently relax the hips back onto the ground and let your pelvis go into whatever is neutral for it. Don't worry about your back touching the ground. Oftentimes people are trying to force their back into the ground too much. Okay? Pulling in your navel and contracting your glutes is how you work on that core. So again, palms are going to be up towards the ceiling. And we're going to go back to concentrating on, just like we did when we were sitting. You're going to pull your navel in, you're going to pull your abdominals in, and you're just going to squeeze your glutes right in that laying down position, okay? And you're going to hold that contraction. So you should feel through your pelvis, everything is contracted, nice and strong. Just imagine someone's going to step on your tummy. It should feel really strong right now, not relaxed. Breathe. You should still be able to take a nice inhale and exhale while you're contracting your abdominals. From here, you're going to keep your glutes contracted on your right side, and you're going to release your left and let that thigh come in towards your chest and tap the foot back down. Continue to keep that right glute contracted along with your abdominals. Your whole right side of your body should feel very strong right now. And the left thigh should move a little bit easier in the hip socket here. One more here. And you're going to relax that left foot onto the ground. Contract your left glute as hard as you can. Pull those abdominal muscles in towards the spine Don't worry if your back goes flat. Relax the shoulders, relax the neck. Turn off the glutes on the right side and start to pull that foot away from the floor. Just bringing the thigh in towards the chest. Yep, good. And then tapping that foot back down. Again, concentrate on contracting the glutes on the left side. You've got someone standing on your stomach and you need to still brace to support. Continue to move that right thigh in that hip joint, and hopefully it feels lighter than that left side. You're still firing the left glutes. And relax that foot down into the ground and stay here for a couple breaths. We're going to go ahead and go back to the shoulder concentration. I want us to start with our band. Actually, we're going to start with trunk rotations, I should say. So sitting back up into your legs crossed over, or if it feels more comfortable for you to have your knees bent, play around with what feels best. I like this better. Taking a nice wide grip in your band or your towel. We're going to think about keeping the chest centered in between our hands. Okay, we're going to lead with our shoulders and our core, and our eyes are going to stay focused in between the center of our hands as well. Continue to twist over as far as your core will let you, and then come back. Go to the other side. Breathe through this, and then come back. I'm just going to position to the side again so you can see. Because as soon as we bring the arms out, oftentimes people reach forward and then they round and they collapse. The whole reason we sat up tall in the beginning and got you used to that is so that you can memorize that position and get used to it. This feels comfortable. We want this to start feeling uncomfortable. We want to get more comfortable with what's uncomfortable right now. So continue that nice strong core. Rotate to the side. When you're going off to your left side, you're going to pay attention to your left shoulder blade. As you get to your end point, I want you to draw your shoulder blade in towards your opposite side, your right side. Feel those muscles contract there. When you come off to the right side, you're going to draw that shoulder blade across towards your left. You're still sitting up tall. Check your pelvis. It wants to tilt back. I guarantee it. And bring it back to the center again. One more time each side. Keep pulling out into your band or your strap or your towel to help keep those back muscles engaged. And bring it down. So let's go ahead and everyone take their legs out wider on the outside edge of your mat. And you might have to have your knees a little bit straighter than mine. Try to pull them in as far as your legs will let you. And you're going to start to walk your hands forward on your mat and round your back over. Get a nice lengthening through that sacral area, lumbar area. We're all going to try to cross the lower legs. Maybe it's out here, maybe it's in a little bit more. And you're going to start to walk your hands forward, letting the body just melt over those legs. So thinking about getting long through your spine first and then melting down. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck back here. Let's just relax in this position for a few more breaths. Feel the stretch through the back side of the hips. And start to slowly walk back up. Pay attention to what leg was crossed over the bottom or the top, and then just switch them around. Again, one more time, you're going to kind of lead with your chest and drive your belly button forward first, and then let that body go forward. Breathe through it. And start to walk back. You can stand, sit, or sit, whatever feels best, depending upon how you're feeling right now. I'm going to turn my back to everyone so you know what I'm trying to do behind my back right now. I'm going to stay with my legs crossed over some more. Okay. So we're going to take our strap or our towel behind our back, and we're going to take the left hand, and you're going to grab underhand with your band, okay? And the right hand is the opposite way. So the right palm is facing to the wall behind you. Your left palm is facing the wall in front of you. You might have to kind of choke up depending upon your mobility on this right side here. I'm going to bring my left hand a little closer to my right to start. You're going to pull that left hand, kind of push it out. You're aiming to the wall in front of you, and you're bringing that left or that right back of the hand onto your lower back. Some of you have, and I'm included, right? We don't have a lot of internal rotation or extension in that side. So if you're not able to touch the opposite shoulder blade with your right fingertips, then you don't have normal range of motion in your shoulders. So we're working on that today. So we're going to pull out with that left hand. We're going to think about bringing the right back of the hand. Notice I'm coming across my body and even around maybe my rib cage here. Don't force anything, just push that out and breathe. The arm's going to want to lock forward. You're going to kind of try to pin the shoulder blade back a little bit without straining too much. Keep that head up tall. Keep that chin, that back of the head going to the wall behind you. Relax everything. Let the weight of that arm go down into gravity. And you're going to release. We're going to stay on this right side again. We're going to do it one more time, just a different way. You're going to grab onto your strap or your towel, and then you're going to find the other end with your right hand again. Okay, so starting down into the middle of your pelvis. And again, you may have to choke up on your strap a little bit with your left hand. Sit tall, and now you're aiming the arm up to the ceiling, and you're pulling that right back of the hand up to the middle of your back shoulder blade. Some of you might be down here. Do not force to get that up there. And also, can we do this without rounding over? The whole point is to keep that good posture, standing, sitting, whatever works for you, and start to reach up to the ceiling with the left hand, pulling that right arm up. And gently pin that right shoulder blade back just to add that extra little lengthening in those external rotators. So you're really working on internal rotation here. And release everything down. Did you feel that in that right shoulder? Slow. It was in traction basically for a couple minutes there. So let's roll it around. This is supposed to be recovery day. We're not supposed to get sore from this, right? However, I'm also making you improve your range of motion and work on that. Now, in a perfect class, I would have had us do more foam rolling and massaging to get those tissues loosened up. But I wanted to go right into this today because not everyone has those foam rollers. What we do on one side, we must do on the other. Everyone's going to feel different. So again, my left hand is now to the back of the room. My right hand is to the front of the room. Sitting up, good posture. You might have to choke up on your band here. And we're going to start to push that arm to the wall in front of you, pulling that left hand around to the right side of the body, maybe even around the rib cage. Take off your speaker device. And once you get there, you'll feel it, obviously. It'll be a stop and it'll a little tension. You can always let off if you need to a little bit. But once you get there, you're going to work on, again, pinning that left shoulder blade back a little bit to avoid rolling forward. So just pin it back slightly. It may not move very much. How about those abdominals? Are you now thrusting your rib cage forward, or are you keeping your abdominals nice and strong? Are you tilted here? Are you rounding over? Or again, are you trying to keep good posture? You might as well mobilize your shoulder in good posture so you can memorize those positions. The physical memory is what it is. And slowly release. And we're going to go to the opposite. So we're going to take that right hand and bring it up, drop it, and you're going to go ahead and find your strap or your towel with your left. Starting right in the middle of your pelvis here. You might have to choke up on your right side a little. Palms still facing away from the body on that left hand. Slowly start to pull up. Release those muscles in that left side. Choke back up again if you need to. Obviously, I'm very hypermobile on this side. Some of you might be the same. Roll that shoulder back. Contract your abdominals. Avoid this. Zip up the front, zip down the back. Keep breathing here. Pin that shoulder back a little bit more on that left side. And slowly release. And now roll that left shoulder around. Get some movement in there. So we're going to bring it to our hands and our knees. You might want to double up your mat underneath your knees, depending upon if that makes them sore or not, or put a pillow underneath if you're at home. So now that we just tried to mobilize our shoulders a little bit, we're going to add some track, some tension, or some load there. And we're going to sink our chest to the floor, driving the back of the shoulder to the ceiling. So as you do this, our tendency is to elevate and bring those shoulders towards the ears like I am right now. Make sure that the shoulder blades stay down your back. Press through the floor and open up. We're not rounding. We're still keeping our back just in neutral. Sink down and press up. That looks like I'm pregnant. I'm done. long time ago. Down and up. Telling you not to stick your belly out, and my shirt made it look like it was about 3 feet down to the ground. Down and up. Good. So what's happening here is that arm is sliding to the back of the shoulder socket, and then we're using the serratus anterior muscles to move the arm to the front of the socket, and we're spreading out the shoulder blades on our back, and then we're coming back in. They spread out, and then they come in. We're going to bring ourselves down to the floor, and I want you to bring your belly to the floor, but your elbows stay right underneath your shoulders. So again, we're going to still load the shoulders now. Make sure that you're not shrugging. Slide those shoulders back and down. You'll feel like your chest is sticking out. Again, it's recovery day, but mind, body, recovery. You guys do all these wonderful strengthening exercises, but a lot of times we're holding ourselves in the wrong positions to get stronger because we're compensating for lack of true mobility. So again, we're doing them slow here. So just make sure you slide those shoulders back. We're going to bend the knees now. We're going to add a little core, just a little hover with your belly. So lift those hips up, the belly up, okay? And we're going to work on sliding our body forwards. Sorry, hang on, come back down again, come back down. Elbows have to go in front of your shoulders a little bit. Now bend your knees, lift your pelvis. You're going to go forward and backwards, forward and backwards, forward and back, forward and back. Good. Again, if you're shrugging and you're rounding your back over, your shoulder's in the wrong position. You're not going to get stronger in those good muscles. You want to slide them back and down, reset, hips up, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. 2 more. So now that we've really fired up those shoulders, okay, we're going to lay down on our belly, and our palms are going to be facing up to start, up towards the ceiling. And you'll want to try to get your forehead on the floor, okay? And just let your shoulders relax towards the floor, or whatever's neutral to them. Don't force anything. So our shoulders, most of us, they're rounding over in that poor upper back posture. But this is how a lot of us sit throughout the day. So our palms are usually down when we're working on washing dishes or typing on a computer. Let's turn the palms facing the floor. So this would be like having our palms facing up. You're going to slowly slide the shoulders back towards the ceiling, up towards the ceiling. As you do that, I do not want you to shrug or bring them towards your ears. You just slide the shoulder blades towards each other, and you lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor. The palms are still in contact, so flip your palms over, Mary. Flip them over so your palms are facing the floor. There you go. Now slowly, very slowly, you are peeling those shoulders, front of the shoulders, away from the floor. And you're holding that contraction, holding it and breathing. If you chose to have your head turned to one side, turn it to the other side now. Otherwise, your forehead is straight towards the floor. Everyone slowly release and bring the front of their shoulders back towards the floor. We're going to do this again. feel the front of the shoulders away from the floor slowly. So you can feel the lower part of your shoulder blades, all those muscles activating, your rhomboids activating. From here, you're going to lift your right palm away from the floor. You're going to turn your palm towards the ceiling. It should be at about butt level, right? About right even with your buns or a little higher. Keep that shoulder right where it's at, and you're going to bend your elbow and bring the back of your hand and hover your pelvis or your lower back and hold. Now this is strengthening those muscles that move your shoulder blade, your rotator cuff muscles, and it's a hand hovering position. It's a pretty challenging one, so some of you may not even be able to hover the hand, but that's what we're working on. Did your shoulder plop forward to the ground again? If so, pull that front of the shoulder away from the ground to be able to hover the hand. Now start to straighten your right elbow, turn the palm back towards the floor again, and then bring it down to the floor, and then both shoulders again. Release and melt towards the floor. The palms are facing the floor. We're going to our left side, so both shoulders, the front of the shoulder joint, pulls away from the floor slowly, using your back muscles. Then you're going to hover the left hand, palm still faces the floor, trying to get that arm into extension so that it's even or slightly above your glutes. You're going to rotate your wrist so your palm on the left side is facing the ceiling. Did you shut off your right side? Hopefully not. Check the front of those shoulders again. They should still be pulled away from the floor. You're going to bend your left elbow here, hovering the pelvis, the glutes, or maybe even your lower back. Continue to pin that left shoulder blade in. This should be challenging. It should be a contraction. The muscles might be shaken. The whole left arm is shaken right now. Keep pulling those shoulders away. Those are weak muscles that are shaken. Hold it and get those muscles educated. Start to extend that left elbow. Rotate the palm towards the floor. You should still have both your shoulders away from the floor. Palm goes to the floor, and then relax and let those shoulders fall forward. If you continue to work on big strengthening exercises, push-ups and pulling and resistance training, and you do not focus on these little guys, you can see how you really don't, if you weren't even able to bring your hand to your back and hover, you're not using your arms right. You're getting weaker with the most important exercises, and then guess what happens? You tear a rotator cuff muscle, or you just get a frozen shoulder. All right. Pressing yourself back up onto your hands and your knees. We were lying face down for quite a bit, and most people aren't used to lying on their bellies, so let's go ahead and release the back. Your hands are going to be out in front a little bit. We're going to round our back over, scooping our pelvis, and then we're going to sit the heels towards sit the hips towards our heels. Breathe through it. And come back up again. Round over first. Really press into the ground here. Tuck your tailbone under, squeeze your buns. And then drive your hips back to your heels. Let's come to a side lying position. Now we're not like sweating, and we're not moving around and, getting our heart rates up a lot. But remember that we're doing a lot of mobilization. You're trying to kind of break through maybe some scar tissue or some adherence or adhesions and stuff in the muscles. So it still is a detoxifying process. You need to make sure you really hydrate so that you don't get sore from doing these things, okay? Especially what I'm making you do with your shoulders today. So you're going to lay on your side, and one arm is going to be in front of you. Make sure that it's not shrugged up here. You want to feel like you're on the side of your shoulder, okay? Stacking that. Some of you might want to grab like a pillow or something to put underneath your neck. I'm just going to try to lay my head down on the floor, which is going to actually stretch out my neck while I'm on that floor. Is that okay there? Okay, Mary? All right. So you're going to bend your arm that's on the floor, and you're going to start to just push it down so the back of the hand goes to the floor, and you're using your top arm. And then you'll grab the back of the hand, and you'll gently pull that down towards the floor this way. So you're pivoting that humerus in your shoulder socket. And again, we don't want to be laying on it so it's, if I'm laying on my side, I don't want my arm here. I want to really get, so I'm stacked on the side of that shoulder, right? And then I'm rotating my arm. Bend the elbow and then rotate. Trying to drop the side of your head to the floor is really going to start to lengthen those traps. We're going to pay attention to that in a second here. Never forcing anything. Some of us might be able to just lay that back of the hand to the floor, but it's that internal rotation. We're stretching, but you just do that very gently. You don't force anything. Now let's just take that bottom arm, and you're going to hug the rib cage. So you're just going to kind of get it out of the way. You're going to hug the rib cage and make sure your shoulders are stacked again. So lift your head up off the floor. Position yourself so your shoulders are stacked. That top arm, if it's your right arm, is just going to go to the side of the body, and then just let it fall to the back of the hips. Palm is facing your buns. And now the head goes to the floor. We do this seated often. We don't do it lying. And you're really now taking the weight of the head against gravity to lengthen and create traction in those traps. Now, right now, our palm is facing our hips. Turn your palm so that it's facing away, and maybe your fingertips lower down to the floor behind your hips. Your shoulders are still stacked. Head is on the ground the best you can here. And bring that arm back up to the side of the hip slowly. You're going to press yourself up, and we're going to go to the other side. But before we go to the other side, we're going to sit up, and we're going to do some half circles with the neck. Now, when we were laying on the floor, shoulders stacked like this, and then head went to the side, you might have to start with something underneath you, and then as you get more mobile over here, you just slowly let it go, and then your head can drop to the floor. I guess that would be the advantage of being at home right now, is you got all kinds of towels you can run and go grab quickly, pillows. Maybe we brought an extra mat, sweatshirt, whatever works. Okay, so let's go to that other side, and we're going to start with the internal and external rotation. Again, try to stack that shoulder. That's the hardest part. We always tend to just shove the arm to the front of the socket. Stack the shoulder. Get something under your head if you need it. And you're going to start to push the palm, the back of the hand towards the floor gently, and then towards the floor gently. I didn't mention this on the other side, but there's a difference between achiness we all know what just tight muscles feel like. There's tension, but there's really not a lot of pain or anything. You got to understand the difference between stretching discomfort and like an impingement, right? You'll feel a pinching or a shooting pain. That's why we do these things slowly. If you get to those points, then you're going a little bit too much. So I'm starting to feel discomfort, and I'm going to slowly see if I can bring my body through it. The more I relax, I'm able to. But if there's a lot of pain, then you want to change a positioning, move your body around a little bit. And one side might be significantly different than the other side. They may never become equal, but all we're doing is definitely maintaining and trying not to let it get worse. Or you might see some significant improvements over time of practicing. So that bottom arm, we are now going to grab onto the rib cage, stack those shoulders, reposition everything, get the side of the head to the floor. That top arm goes straight on the side of your body. Keeping your palm facing your hips, you're going to bring that hand around to your back side. And just breathe. And if you feel comfortable, try to rotate that palm away from your pelvis, and maybe the fingertips will fall towards the floor. You really should feel this lengthening between the base of the ear, the skull, and all the way to the outside of the shoulder and that top side. One more big exhale and just let gravity pull the weight of that arm and pull on those muscles. And bring it back up. Good. So we're going to lay back onto our back, getting those hips straight, pointing your toes, squeezing or contracting your thigh muscles, contracting your glutes, pulling in your abdominals. There should be a natural space between your back and the floor. Your arms go vertical once again. You drive the arm to the back of the shoulder socket. You stabilize with your entire rib cage area all the way down to the toes, while you bring your thumbs to the floor again. Maybe they touch this time if they didn't before. Bring them vertical again. Make a fist if they did touch. And now see if you can bring the outside of the fist to the floor without breaking any contraction from your rib cage down. Bring your arms back up again. Turn if they were able to touch. And now see if you can get the back of the hand to the floor. Those are your progressions. Maybe you're not able to go through a bigger range of motion, but maybe you've freed up some things and it moves a little bit easier through your range of motion that you do have. Contracting those abdominals, contracting your glutes. And you're going to use your strap. You're going to bend the knees, bend the hips, grabbing your strap, grabbing wide on your strap, and you're trying, or your towel, and you're trying to pull out. So now you're going to contract those back muscles, okay? And we're going to see the difference in how that feels. You're going to squeeze your buns, contract your abdominals, and now bring your arms over your head. Just by activating the correct muscles, you hopefully shut off your trapezius muscles a little bit, which are your neck, that area we stretched out. You're activating the back of the shoulders, the back muscles, as you pull out into your towel or into your band, and you go through this motion of over the head and back to vertical. So part of proper shoulder function is using the right muscles to move the arm and the socket. And you're getting them to activate right now. So there's something to be said about using these strength exercises to build your range of motion. And relax. Hopefully that felt a little easier. Did that feel a little easier for you, Mary? Yeah. You're pulling out, you're using your lats. You're no longer shrugging and elevating and impinging the shoulder as you bring it over your head. The same thing when we sit up. Are we activating our lats, or are we elevating to lift the arms and put something up on a shelf, right? Yeah, and the stronger we get down here, and we use that, and part of why we can't use those muscles as well is we might not have the rotation in the shoulder blades, right? We might not have that internal rotation happening, so that's why I mobilized it first a little bit to help. All right, with the time that we have left, I think we haven't done this in a long time. I think I'm just going to have one of my little recordings relax us through some guided meditation. So choose to come to a seated position or lying down if you would like. There we are. Ooh, we'll do the morning gratitude one. Oh, we won't be able to get through all of it. All right. Birds here. So I'm going to shut my voice off.
Welcome.
And turn Grant's on.
Welcome to the present. Relax your physical body in any way that you like. It doesn't matter where. Don't concern yourself. As long as it feels good in your body, you're in the right place. Get all the excess shifting and moving out of the body. Let it go. And as you come to settle, allow the eyelids to close down. Allow the moving and shifting to become less and less and less and less. As you bring your attention from outside of you now directly towards you. For these next few moments, nothing else exists, just you. Just you and your mind, just you and your heart, your thoughts, your emotions, and what you decide to feel and think. You are the creator of your reality. So as we step into that power, direct the muscles of your face to relax. The forehead releases. Your lower jaw releases. You may even feel some space between the top and bottom teeth. Allow your tongue to relax. And that wave of calm, that wave of relaxation moves down the entire body, just like a slow rolling wave. Let it move down, 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 down. Neck, arms, chest, belly, your hips, your upper legs, your lower legs, your feet, calm and relaxed. And that awareness and that attention and that strength and that power and that confidence and that happiness and that joy and all of the emotions, the infinite amount of emotions you wish to experience more, you experience it right here, right now, by bringing your attention to the center of your chest, by bringing your hand and placing it at the center of the chest. We do this because now nothing else exists. Just you and your heart, you and your strength, right here, right now. That heart beating against your hand, pulsing life into your physical body. You now in your mind you see your life as if all your needs, all your desires, all your goals have already been accomplished. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What do you hear? What do you taste? What's around you? Who do you see? Go there. Right now, go there. This reality exists. Go there.
And you can slowly open those eyes. And for those of you at home, you can just stay there and nap the rest of the day if you would like. But what a great way to start your day, and thank you for joining me today.